I'm thinking how I think 3 Kirby will use it to return in the next 2D Kirby. It's harder to predict for 3D Kirby since we've only had one with copy abilities. Dream Buffet is in 3D and so is Fort Blast, but they don't have copy abilities. Actually, Battle Royale was a 3D one. Normal Kirby, it's going at 95% chance. So unless they do it, you're permanently stuck with the one copy ability the entire time. I don't see a world where we don't have a normal Kirby. I'll scroll through and see which one, and I'll put them in short beam. I'll put them. I think beam or a 2D game is almost certainly going to return. Maybe not in 3D because it might not work, but in 2D definitely. And Spark, I think, has a very high chance, but I'm going to put it in 75% because there's a small chance they bring us. On top of the chance that it might not be at all. Fire is another 95% chance. It's a popular on this bit in most games. So for Cutter, it's only missed out on the new challenges stages from the Dream Collection. Crash, I could see it not being in if they focus on festival and cook and paint instead, but I think it's probably going to, so I'm putting it above Spark. Also, I'm reordering this, it should probably be like that. Anyway. Yep. Sword. I don't think it's as lucky as Cutter because it's missed a few, but yeah, it's 99% chance that's going to be in the game. As for Burning and Freeze, they've basically just been merged into other abilities, so yeah, 1% chance. To be honest, I think the 3D version of Needle is what Needle's going to be more like now. But it wasn't in Star Wars, and I don't think it's in since I don't think it's really in many of the modern games at all. I don't think it's in Return to Dreamland. I don't think it's in Triple Dawn. It's possible though, but not really. It's 25%. And Parasol's only missed out on Forgotten Land. So I think it goes above Fire and Beam but below Cutter and Sword because I think it's basically guaranteed. I think Tornado is probably going to come back, but I could see them deciding it's too powerful and Cutter. So it's going in the 75% too. As for a wheel, it's been quite on and off in the modern game, so I'm putting it at a 50 shot. And I'm putting Stone 95% chance because it shows a lot. Mike, same thing as Crash, but instead of using Mike, just some fixing Crash. Laser could be used for some cool puzzles, but we already have Mecha to shoot lasers, which somewhat replaces the laser, or Mechas don't bounce. So It's not impossible, but I still think we've got a very low chance of seeing it. Sleep. If it was one of the, I believe, 10, because drill and ranger were new. It was one of the 10 brought back despite it being useless. They didn't bring back parasol. Parasol has been in every previous game. They wouldn't bring like beam or stone or spark. And they brought back crash and tornado as well. Yeah. Sleep I'm putting below the rest of the 95%, but it's high jump similar to wheel isn't that used, and these two also have the problem if the missile comes back. They probably aren't. Ice I think is actually more likely than fire because it's freezing is slightly more unique. Backdrop's been replaced 1%, but suplex isn't very common, so it's more likely than burning and freeze. Camera shows up in basically every game, so I think that's actually going with sword, since it shows up in basically every game. And support reliability. Yeah, light, that's been replaced by a candle. UFO, I don't think it's very likely. Its flying part can kind of be replaced by other abilities, so I'm putting it below 5%. And ball, I don't think it's ever coming back. That one's probably closer to 5%, but it's only not 13%. But 1%, because if Kirby being a ball is no longer a copy ability, and now a spin-off game exclusive thing. Throws now in several copy abilities, so right at the bottom, because several copy abilities allow you to throw. I think nowadays we're probably going to get bomb and probably going to get fighter. Mirror, I'm pretty sure it's like quite a good ability, but I don't think it has best chances. Maybe more than needle, because I think needle might be mainly focused on 3D after Forgotten Land, which might have been why they brought it back to mainly focus needle on 3D. I also think Cook probably won't show up since there's a lot of other ints didn't know loads of things or deal huge amounts of damage attacks. Ninja, I think there's a spawn, but there's enough chance it doesn't show up. So it is popular, but not so popular. It's these that it's not in. Also on moving tornadoes. Plasma, I think after Star Eyes, we're not seeing this thing again. I know it recently came back, but it's too similar to Spark. I think that was just one off. Actually 10% in case Spark isn't in. Yo-Yo isn't particularly common, but I think it could just stay now after Star Allies. So I'm putting it in 50% above these, since it doesn't have the drawback of what if missile comes back. Suplex, as I already mentioned, barely shows up. Oh, it was in Star Allies. Yes. Having 3 appearances in the Dreamland series and never again is going to give you lower chances than appearing in one of the 4 modern 2D games. mainline ones. I still don't think it's very likely, so I'm going to put it between Needle and Cook. Wing, I think's got a goodish he's an ability focus, but less so than Wheel and Tornado, so I'm going to put it above them. And I think it's very likely to be one of the new copy abilities in the next 3D game. Well, new 3D copy. Yeah. We're not seeing copy again. It's not been replaced like these guys, but it's still gonna come back. Jet. It's the same problem with High Jump and Wheel, but it's also just less likely to show up in general, so I'm putting it there. Paint. Well, not only is there an artist ability now, it showed up in 2 bosses in the entire series, and that's it. Cleaning came back, so I could see it going either way and it being a one-off, or it returning again. Cupid, I could see possibly coming back, but it probably won't. So, hi, 10%. Same with Missile. I don't think we're getting this all again, but we might. And Splash Bros is basically just a mashup of other stuff. I think since it's appeared in the modern game, and I'll be honest, I'm here, it's more than these, but still, probably not. I want Magic back. It's a cool ability in Squeak's mod. I don't think it will. Probably more likely than Cooking User. Mini Balloon, definitely not coming back. Or Metal. Or Bubble, since I don't think we're getting the copy palette again, but if we do, then we'll definitely see Bubble again. Animal, Drill does exist, but they both dig in different ways. So I'm going to short this going. This is what we're going to start seeing more 10%. I'm gonna put it below this. Ghost is a cool concept, but it doesn't really work in Kirby, so I'm gonna put it there. And that is the last of the old copy abilities. Yeah. Squeak's doesn't do very well for itself. Its ranking ability is Magic, or it isn't from there. It would return as the version from there, or if it does come back. Leaf, I think, has a good chance. In fact, I think most of them do. So I'm putting Leaf in the 50% category. And Whip up in 75%. Because I'm pretty sure it's appeared in basically everything since it showed up. Water is going at the bottom of 50%, simply because if Poison ever comes back, then we're not seeing water in the same game. I think Spear's actually in 95%. I'm going to put it in 75%. Whip at the bottom of 99%. The reason for that is that it could go the way Forgotten Land and be exclusively player 2. Bell, well, to be fair to it, it was in Fighters 2. And I think it's going to be the first 25% ability from that game, well, in that game. And at least for now, the ones been introduced in a modern game, and I'm playing it, to be fair, since it's in with the top. DLC isn't a one-off. I get why it didn't come back in Planet Road I bought, because it wouldn't fit, but I think it's got a good chance of coming back again. So it's going to be a 50% ability. Both these three, because these three that have abilities that are not showing up in the same game as them. Archer falls into the same problem, but I think Archer is less likely. I think enough just to knock it so that it's closer to 25% than it is to 50%. But above Bell. Since Cupid, which I mentioned earlier, could come back. Right, I'm going to knock Cupid down. I touch and smash. Cupid. Then again, Miss on Cupid were added to the same game, but I don't think both in the same game yet. Circus. I'm putting just above Magic because it's sort of just a modern Magic. And ESP. I think it's the only one of the Planet Robobot abilities to be in Star Allies. I don't think it's going to return anytime soon. So in 25% it goes. Doctor does have Dr. Healmore for it. Going for it. But I think the chances of getting the next 2D game being another Kirby Clash are quite low. I think the fact it is in the Kirby Clash series might make it slightly more likely. So I mentioned poison earlier. So it could go either way, and it shows up a decent amount alternating with water. Or it was just for law reasons in Planet Robot. And we never see it again. To be on the safe side, it's going quite low in the 25%. But I do want it to come back. And the festival has the problem of the other instance, but I think it's much less likely. I think they only added, I reckon it was in Return to Dreamland Deluxe, so that they had a round number of abilities. It's above Plasma Ghost Smash Bros, but not very likely. Artist. Oh, now we get to the rest of the Star Allies abilities. And everything from this point, except the staff, has only appeared in one game because of how recent it is. I'm going to say that Artist could be a cool ability to return again. And I think it's going in the 50-50 tier. I think Spider's actually going to be near the top, or near the bottom actually, that's only 5%. Simply because Como is such a common enemy, but as we saw with Cleaning, Broom Hatter is in games, but Cleaning has only shown up twice, despite Broom Hatter showing up a lot. And Staff also falls into that 50-50 tier, but it's showing up in 5. In fact, Leaf Artists are probably less likely, and probably less likely than those three because they picked those ones. Well, those three because they're in Fighters 2. Wrestler is yet to appear in a mainline Kirby game, but that's probably because it was introduced. Since it was introduced, the only 2D game we've had is a remake. I'm gonna say that there's a good chance it's gonna be exclusive to Fighters 2. And it's also quite similar to Suplex, so I'm actually just gonna play like below Suplex, taking Bell's record for least likely ability to have appeared in Fighters 2. Ranger has the problem Laser did of Mecha, and it's one of three abilities to have never appeared in 2D. Once again, due to the fact the only 2D game since Forgotten Land is a remake, but it did add some new abilities. One of them wasn't new, but wasn't in Return to Dreamland, so it didn't exist yet. So I'm gonna be harsh and put Ranger there. I think Drill's gonna be more likely. Animal. I'm moving Missile on, since I think it could work in 2D's secrets, but I think it'd more be like Laser and Animal itself as a puzzle ability did show up. Jelly would be quite fun to have. So it's going to take Grass as a record. It's only going to take Grass as a record for least either it's appeared in a spinner. Bell still has it for ones that didn't start in a spinner. Let's count Ball. But I think Jelly is probably not going to show up in a mainline game, but it'd be funny if it did. Sand and Mecha are the final two abilities, and I'm going to do... No, yes. So, and it's, I suppose, slightly similar to Walton's aspects I thought. But I think it's unique enough to show up again. In fact, it was added in a remake, I think makes it more likely. And that it was part of a 3D or 2D game they're making. So it's going in the 50-50 tier. And so is Mecha. Well, Mecha's going below it. Because I think there's a decent chance that we won't see it if we see Laser. So that's my list. I think the ones that are basically guaranteed are normal Kirby, Cutter, Sword, Hammer, Parasol, Bomb, Ice, Fire, Beam, Fighter, Stone, Whip and Sleep. The ones that are very likely but not guaranteed, but not basically guaranteed, are Ninja, Spear, Spark, Wing, Tornado, Spider, Crash and Knight. The ones that are 50-50 are Yo-Yo, Staff, Beetle, Leaf, Artist, Cleaning, Sand, Mecha, Wheel, High Jump and Water. The ones that are most likely not going to be in but have a decent shot still are, I think, are Archer, Bell, Mirror, Needle, Suplex, Wrestler, Jet, Doctor, ESP, Circus, Magic, Poison, Cook, and Uther. Ones that are very unlikely, very, have a quite small chance, but still possible it might work. Animal, Drill, Missile, Cupid, Laser, Ranger, Festival, Smash, Ghost, Jelly, and Plasma. And the ones that won't work be in the game because they're either really bad, been replaced, require a gimmick in a game that probably won't show up again, or a mix of all of those are Bubble, Ball, Copy, Mini, Balloon, Metal, Paint, Light, Backdrop, Burning, Freeze, and Fry. So all Fry's the least likely, and Cutter the most, because normal Kirby isn't really a copy ability. Let's see this video.